It's your main man, Dr. Life, in the business of saving lives, first responder, responding to unnatural, artificial, man-made disasters. And it's the Shine Doctors, her, Dr. Zion Life Mark, her, Dr. Kanisha Life, her RPG, her Shine on RPG. And I'm RPG of the rugged prophetic ghost of alien bedrock nation. We live in this world, we're not of this world. This world is not our home. So we're not even playing around. We're not even playing around. This is the launch. This is the official launch of the Onxx Wall Street Banks Havillah Hollow Coins. Kept telling y'all that we was launching Dr. Zion Life Mark. Also launching Adonai Community Mission number one LLC's Adonai Freedom House Perfect Gift Samaritan Hospitals. We created a hospital system taken right out of the pages of the Word of God, the parable of the Good Samaritan. I told y'all that this year we was going to take the parables. Nobody has ever, nobody. I believe because the world still can't decipher what the meaning of the parables are, but nobody has ever put the parables on film. So I'm challenging my team this year. Um, we're hiring all leading up and all through this One Love IMG neighborhood games to put together production crews to produce 360 Hollywood films that bring to life the parables and the other key stories that Hollywood has shot and put their spin on it. And most recently, Jay-Z did some mockery, did a biblical mockery on film, the Book of Clarence or whatever that trash, that absolute trash. And so I told y'all, we the first responders. And so on my page, I told y'all that, listen, Dame Dash Challenge 50 on business verticals, and I'm going to get at Jay for the blasphemy over his whole career, for the absolute blasphemy. And that film, the Book of Clarence, or whatever he called it, that was the last straw. That was the absolute last straw. And so Business Vertical Challenge, just the way that Dame Dash framed it is genius. He just went down a list of things that he's doing under his platform called America New. And then he's challenging 50 based off of what 50's producing. It's called the business verticals. And he listed very, 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 very specific items and categories. And when I listened to it, almost everything on the list we already have created and have been created and given to the people through Hollywood studios. And then you have individuals like Jay, who's lockstep with Puff Daddy. There's no separation between Puff Daddy and Jay. None. Zero. It never has been. And so with him being in lockstep with Puff, and Puff is an industry puppet. And so everything that Dame Dash said applies here. And the greatest example of this is the movie, the mockery that he put down. So when we drop our films, when we drop our fashion statements, and we drop our music, we gonna highlight the difference, just like Dame Dash showed you what the difference is in his business between him and 50. We gonna show y'all why he's black, why Jay is blasphemous, and then we gonna correct the blasphemy in the music, in the film, in the fashion. Blasphemous. They thought they could use Jay. They thought they could use Jay to control our fashion statement. Allen Iverson, and dropped his sneaker. Jay tried to drop the S Carters on, on Reebok. Allen Iverson ate him up in the shoe game. Then he tried to come out with button downs because we all was rocking with AI with the throwback jerseys. He tried to shut down the throwback jersey game by coming out with the button downs. Knock it off. Beat it, bro. Every time they try to put this dude forward as the face or the king of hip hop. And because y'all not from the source, y'all buying it elsewhere. I don't know who else is buying it. Then he try to come out with these braids and try to come out on this art tip. And he patterned and he styled himself after this black artist. This black artist who was the lover to Andy Warhol, the painter. So this dude patterns himself after some young black artist who was in love with Andy Warhol. Oh man, I can't make this stuff up, yo. You can't make this stuff up, yo. Over and over and over again, he trying to remake himself over to try and be the thing that he claimed that he is, the king of the yo, bro. So, but most importantly, the most important thing that separates who the true king is from Jay-Z is when it comes to business. So when it comes to business, my main man Nas, he created an investment firm and an investment company called Queensbridge Capital. Queensbridge Capital. Well, on the other side, this that so that's something that Nas created himself, and there's about 20 different investments that he has made that has been earth-shattering, ground-shaking. The number one joint, he made over 100-something million in one investment in Coinbase. Before they launched Coinbase publicly, he was in the ICO. And why I'm bringing this up is because we in the midst of our launching our ICO, our coin. This is full ownership. When you create an investment company straight from the hood, Queensbridge Capital, he got an investment firm, an investment team. On the other side of the coin, you got Jay-Z. And all of y'all who don't know nothing about economics or finance, a Russian billionaire bought or paid for the move to bring the Nets to Brooklyn. But because nobody was going to get behind a Russian billionaire who's not from the States owning a NBA franchise and being the face of it, that don't even sound right. So they said, okay, how, what face can we put on this move to Brooklyn that the people will accept? So Jay-Z became the marketer, the face. Basically, he got paid to sit courtside at the games, and he got paid a small little percentage to be the person from Brooklyn that shows up at the game. Like Spike Lee is always at the New York Knicks game. Like Jack Nicholson is always at the Lakers game. They said, what face can we put with this? And they said, oh, Jay-Z, we'll give him 2%. 2% stake in. That's not an investment. That's not a wealth builder. That's not economic empowerment. Jack Nicholson isn't economic empowerment because he's the face, he's the star, the face that shows up at the Laker game. Spike Lee's not economic empowerment because he's the face that shows up at the. So we gonna separate what an asset is. And so Robert Kiyosaki is known for doing exactly this, but when it comes to homes, real estate, he educated the people that all of y'all who have invested in 30-year mortgages, y'all all believe that your home is an asset, and you're incorrect. And he was saying this in 1997 when the book dropped. So when the housing crisis came in 2008, 2007, 2008, it just proved that he was right. The people who had Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and had all of their wealth in their house, he said, unless it's putting money in your pocket, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is you have to spend money out of your pocket and you're losing money paying for something. That's a liability. That's the definition. That's the accounting term for what a liability is. So when you buy a single family home and you purchase a 30-year mortgage on a single family home, that's not an asset. It's a liability until you pay off the 30-year loan. As long as you're in debt, it's not an asset. So all of these Americans like, yo, I'm living the American dream. No, you have debt slavery. The American dream is to be a debt slave to the banking companies. So Robert Kiyosaki he became a billionaire because he showed the average American has no economic, financial foundation and background at all. And the banks and the financial institutions, they profit off of your ignorance. They want the people to be financially ignorant so they don't have to compete. And so we have been doing the same thing for our community that Robert Kiyosaki has done for the general public. We just focus on our community and we open our people's eyes to the deception that keeps them in the generational curses of poverty. All right. But this time, we not talking and we not training. When I looked up and saw there's a website called Coin Market Cap, right? Coin Market Cap. And one day I just started with the top 5 cryptocurrency coins. And Bitcoin has something like $23 trillion in its capitalization. That means that's how much whoever started the Bitcoin project, their group owns $23 trillion. Then when you look at Ethereum has like, it's over $1 trillion in its cap. And I'm like, so they done created a whole new financial system, and all Europeans who are sitting down on computers and programming or creating a business plan off of programming and creating a coin and launching it to the market. And you mean to tell me there's a group of Europeans that has sat down and now they control trillions of dollars in a pool of money just because they sat down at the computer and wrote some code and wrote a business plan and launched that code? And then the word of God says in Proverbs, yeah, Deuteronomy 28, you will be the head and not the tail. You will lend and not borrow. I will bless you when you go out, and I will bless you when you come in. Blessed in the city and blessed in the field. You will be above all nations and not beneath. That's what the word of God promised us. Those of us who don't mock the Son of God. Those of us who enter into a covenant with the God that Jay-Z and the world and Hollywood mocks. You will be above all nations and not beneath. You will lend and not borrow. So for that to be true, I had to sit down and create our own coin. If there's a group of people that can pool together trillions of dollars, then God is a liar if nobody in his camp steps up and claims the top spot. And that's what we have done. That's what the Havillah Hollow Coins is. If they can sit down at the computer and write a code and put a business plan together, so can we. And if y'all running around here invested in Bitcoin and y'all got Ethereum and Bitcoin and y'all got all of the, so just add the Havillah Hollow Coins to your portfolio. That's it. But we've created it as a utility to create wealth around the sports that only we dominate in our inner city urban hip hop neighborhoods. We are very, 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 very specific, just like they very, very, very specific with who they target with their wealth. We doing the same thing. The movement is called Just Own It. So, all around the country. So I'm here. The way we gonna be able to get to all of the masses and all of the inner city neighborhoods is all around this city of Orlando. There are venues like this. All right. Right there, it's a tent. This is a stage. So the school that I go to, these are receipts. We dealing with receipts. We ain't talking about none. We dealing with receipts. All right. Number one media school in the world. All right. We talk about receipts. All right. That's one of 3 diplomas. All right. That's why I had the ability to sit down and engineer, because I go to the school of the best engineers in the world. So this is called a tenant meeting. That's a stage. Okay. All over the city, there's venues. And the last time I did this, we did this for the campus organization. We created a company called Real to Reels. And we used the Florida Music Festival as our platform to launch a company where we wouldn't have to wait for graduation. We wouldn't have to wait 3 years. We could get paid. We could get experience. We could launch a company and start fulfilling our dreams immediately on day 1. So by month number 3 in our very first degree, we already had the company up. And then the Florida Music Festival came, our very first one, and we knocked it out the park. We had a website designed. We were signing people up in our website. Yo, log on, boom, 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 boom. Social media site, boom, boom, boom. Create your profile right here at the music festival. We were signing everybody up. Everybody, sign up right now. Sign up, sign up. Create your username and password. Sign up right now. Boom, boom, boom. I'm talking about executives from Sony. So every night during it's a 4-day music festival, film festival, all of that. 4 days, starting from Wednesday and going all the way to Sunday. Stages all over downtown Orlando. All of the bars, all of the everything had different genres of music going. You had the lineup that was playing and the bands that was going to play, in that venue on that night. And if you wanted to hear that band, you would show up and they tell you what time that band was playing, and you would show up and boom, they will perform, and then they get done with their set, and then the next band is on. Talk about thousands and thousands and thousands of people descended on Orlando every year. And we launched career after career after career after career, because on our team, we had show production individuals, we had web design individuals, we had recording arts individuals, we had every single thing that was offered at Full Sail professionally on our team, hungry, networking with bands like, yo, you need a video, you need a music video shot, yo, we got the greatest videographers, right? Boom. You need a music video, companies. You need a commercial, yo, boom. Yo, you need a website, yo. You need animation, what? You need a game, get EA Sports, Yo, you need somebody to design NASCAR. You need somebody to design the Tiger Woods golf game. You need, yo. And so after COVID went down, I said, with all of the resources that I have, not only did I go to Full Sail, I also went to the greatest media arts high school in the world. So y'all know, y'all talk about fan. Remember they had the. So there was a movie Fame, but it's really based off of the performance art and finest art school called Juilliard Academy in New York. And Juilliard Academy can't touch Pine Forge Academy. And Oakwood University. Another performance arts and fine arts university. The first one was a high school. This is a university. So I've been to the greatest performance arts high school, greatest performance arts. No, we not no HSBCU. No. Oakwood University is not an HSBCU. All right. We are a fine arts and performance arts university. The HSBCUs are what Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about. In that speech that got him killed, he told how the federal government gird Europeans with an economic floor. He said, y'all created land grant colleges. You taught them how to farm, gave them low interest and no interest loans, gave them free money so they could start their farms. The only schools in the country that got all of that is the A&Ms, the agriculture and mechanical, the HSBCUs. When Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about the federal government, oh, y'all didn't know that Europe was full of people of color. Just because he said you girded Europeans, everybody assumes that he's talking about what? No. The dominant group in Europe, just go to Benjamin Franklin. He wrote a book in 1751 telling London, yo, don't bring no more people of color from Africa here. There's too many people of color already here. London, the British were running the slave trade in 1751, and Benjamin Franklin said, stop that. And the people who were running the slave trade for England, they weren't white people. Christopher Columbus from the 1500s on was a person of color, the Black Moors. They called themselves the Habsburg dynasty. You go back and look at the crest, the shields of the royal families of the Habsburg dynasty. They're all people, they're the Black Moors. Habsburgs. Or the Black Pharaohs, the Black Egyptians, Habsburg dynasties. It's documented. It's documented in history. They all had a family crest. The family crest is the shield, the royal shield. And on all of their royal shields of the Habsburgs, you see the heads of Black Moors on their shields. So just because he said European, and when you do history like we have, now it makes sense. It makes sense why all of those people of color was out there on the balcony and he had to go. His peoples did that to him because he exposed that the financial ball and chain around the neck of our people, it's not what they made you believe it to be. Dr. Martin Luther King, after he did that whole rundown, he said, when we come to Washington, D.C., we coming to get our check. He was like, I'm coming to get reparations for, and he was talking about the sanitation workers and the poor people on the bottom rung. So he exposed the fact that there's an educational system where companies, they train their high-level executives, and then those schools get funding from the federal government. It's called a subsidy, corporate welfare. And so he said, we come to Washington, D.C., we coming to get our check. And so they assassinated him. So our people never got the reparations. But when they created a whole nother financial system, that all you got to do is sit down and create your own banking system. When you create a coin, when you launch a coin, you're launching a bank. But because we know who we are, and because our ancestors have always been here, we not deceived by this Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Nah, that's them same pirates of the Caribbean that came over here that tried to take the land and couldn't. All right. Onxx Wall Street goes back to the very in the beginning economy in Genesis chapter 2. The very first commodities ever spoken of on this earth are spoken of in Genesis chapter 2 in the beginning. Gold, onyx, frankincense. Gold and silver, onyx, frankincense. Commodities in the earth, in the land. So on Mondays we focus on real estate investment trust funds. So we direct our coins at real estate investments in very, very specific land purchases for very specific reasons. That's what a REIT is, a real estate investment trust fund. Some individuals invest in commercial properties for hospitals. Some people invest in commercial real estate for wellness spas and wellness lifestyle, wellness resorts. Some people invest in real estate, commercial real estate for specifically banks, to launch banks. And all three of these are categories that we invest in. And so we're launching this coin to reverse the inflation that has decreased the value of the dollar. So for every dollar that you spend with us, for every US dollar, the Havillah Hollow coin is 320 dollars more valuable than one US dollar equals 320 Havillah bills. So when you exchange $1, you're getting back 319 bills. You're just putting the value back in the dollar that it lost with the horrible economic financial leadership that has happened over the past 50 years in this country. Longer than that. Going back to right after the Great Depression. They created Wall Street after the Great Depression, really. Wall Street crashed, but regular people didn't really invest in Wall Street. It was big blue chip companies and the federal government would issue bonds. They would issue bonds to people and people would purchase the bond, and then they would take the money that they raised from the bonds and they would build a dam or build a bridge or build a subway. That was really the early stock market. The federal government, they would say, hey, listen, we got these bonds in New York, and then you would put $1,000 or whatever, and they tell you how much interest they'll give you back after they use your money to build the bridge or the dam or whatever. That was the stock exchange. Then after the Great Depression, you got the gambling that y'all see now on Wall Street, where companies were going there and then individuals started investing, and that's how you got to the financial situation that the country is in right now. So in every one of your neighborhoods, we're gonna have a place like this where it will be a tent of meeting, where we'll have an address, where a tent, auditions go down here, tryouts, everything. It's called Hollywood Grail Star Search. We're searching for the best of the best in the neighborhoods, acting, singing, drum, dancing, cheerleading, blah, blah, blah. And then the games have tryouts for all of the sports that we play in. And everything has everybody. You cannot participate without getting one of our proprietary Gen Mobile G-Tail phones. Gen Mobile. Gen Mobile was a $32 billion. The federal government claimed that they were going to inject $32 billion into the poorest economic group in our country that was on lockdown during COVID, who did not have internet, tablets, or cell phones. And they said it was like 4 million individuals who are the poorest individuals in the US, that when they schools got shut down and all of that, the parents were so poor. So to even qualify, you had to have either be receiving food stamps, receiving Medicaid, WIC, some type of government assistance. Because if you qualify for the government assistance, that means you're at or below the poverty line. That's the only qualification. If you receive some type of government assistance, then the federal government said we're gonna put 32 billion, and we're gonna make sure that this group gets tablets, internet, and cell phones. Because the rest of the country learned how to do Zoom and learned how to navigate being online, and with the whole economy shut down. Um, and so the individuals who had children who were school age, who didn't have tablets and all of that, they are 2 and 3 years behind educationally. So that's what the program was supposed to be created for, so that those individuals supposedly were supposed to be brought back up to speed with the 32 billion. And there's something in our country called privatization. Privatization is when corporate individuals see pools of money, and instead of allowing the pools of money to go to the intended use that the government stated that the pool of money was created for, they call it pork in DC. Pork. You know, swine will eat anything. Pigs will come and eat anything. They'll devour and consume anything. So that's why they call it pork. When they create money, when other corporate interests come in, and instead of allowing the money to go to where it's supposed to go, they eat it up themselves. And that's exactly what happened with Gen Mobile. That's what happened with Gen Mobile. So this is another big pool of money, a big pool of reparations that they owe the poorest people in our country. So we invested in some phones and tablets called G-Tel, so that we could still carry out the goal. Because before COVID, we were working with a company in the top Inc. 500. So the stock exchange has a S&P 500. That's an index. All right, S&P 500. Standard and Poor 500. So they collect 500 of the most consistent corporations that usually are always profitable over time, and they bunch them together in the S&P 500. They let people invest in that portfolio because a index is much more stable than these other individual companies. When you have 500 different companies pooled together, there is very little chance that all 500 of them will go bankrupt all at the same time. So it's stable. It's a safe investment. It doesn't make a huge return. It's just for individuals who just want to be slow and steady with growing their money. So 4%, 5%, 7%, which will take you forever to grow wealth at 4% or 7%. But because it's safe, people would rather do that than invest in riskier things that bring a larger return. Okay? So that's the S&P 500. But that's publicly traded. So the whole world has to know what your finances are. They need to see your accounting. They need to see your books. And then there's something that's private. These are private companies that don't have to show nothing. You don't got to see my taxes. You don't need to know nothing. It's called the Inc. 500 5000. I don't have to show you how much money I make. I don't have to show you nothing. Inc. 500 5000. And the companies that dominate that space are direct sales companies. Direct sales company is companies that create products and they don't pay for large advertising and large marketing and all of that. They use word of mouth marketing by individuals who buy the product and then market it, and then they give them a share of the revenue if the person that they shared it with buys it. It's called being a distributor. That's called direct sales. So you save money by not spending millions and millions of dollars on advertising, and you use word of mouth advertising, which is the most effective advertising because you have a circle of influence. So when you go to your circle of influence and you say, yo, this product is good, the people that trust you the most and love you the most, they will buy that because you have influence on those. That's the most effective marketing ever. So these companies in direct sales, they say, instead of paying strangers that I don't know to come up with a commercial jingle and da 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 da, I will just have multiple thousands of individuals that their circle of influence trust, and I'll just pay them out of the profits when something is sold. That's called direct sales. So the Inc. 500 5000, you have a bunch of companies, and to give you an example, Amway. Give you another example, Mary Kay. A lot of the women you'll know about Mary Kay. Mary Kay is like beauty products, makeup, and all of this. Mary Kay does not market. They pay distributors, women, to go around to their friends and sell their makeup to them. Mary Kay is direct sales. You can't go up to the New York Stock Exchange and find out what's the earnings for da da da. It's private. It's a private enterprise. And so private enterprises like that, they look for individuals that can inspire and motivate their sales force or their distributors. And if you have the ability to inspire and motivate their sales force to go from having a 50-50 success rate to having a 95% success rate, that potentially could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. If they have a sales force that, if they talk to two people, they average in one out of the two people of sales. And then if you had the ability to come in and talk to their people and help their people go from 50-50 to 95% they closing, oh, they pay you big money to come in and do that. And because we understood this, we got with a company called 5 Links. When I say we, I reached out to my brother E.T., the hip hop preacher who specializes in inspiration and motivation. And because I specialize in hustling with businesses, I know that these big companies, they look for individuals that can help the sales force go to another level. And so because we helped that company generate 200 million, there's a law in the United States called peonage. Y'all need to know this. Peonage states it's a law that says you cannot be paid under what you're worth. People don't know this. People don't understand this. That's why the restaurant industry is getting over paying people $2.13 an hour, and they say, "Oh, you're getting your tips." So the owners of those restaurants, they pass in the burden of generating the income off to the employee instead of just paying them a living wage. And peonage, there's peonage laws on the books in the United States that said that's illegal. But because people don't know, people don't do research, and people don't study. So these entities, any way that they can save money and put money in their pocket and not put money in your pocket, they'll cut your throat and do it because they know the average person is not going to go and do the research and figure out, like, yo, it's not right that they paying me 213. Peonage says it's illegal to do that. But because nobody refers to the law, they do it to you. And so we had individuals in 5 Links who had over 200,000 customers that they personally signed up personally, and these individuals are paying for products every single month. But what the company paid them for signing up 200,000 people, 200,000 individuals, some people who signed up 300,000, some people who did over 100,000 customers. That's an asset. That's a tangible asset. But when they only pay you 25 cents or they only pay you $5, when that customer pays their bill, when they could pay you $105 a month, that's called peonage. And then there's individuals who do what I do. It's called short selling. A short seller studies companies that are robbing the people, and the short seller puts together the data and brings it to the public and then gets individuals to go and get their money back. It's called a short seller. And so because we put over $200 million in the pockets of a company, now it's time for us to get paid in full of everything we've done with that company. And now that we have something new called cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I'm returning back to all of the companies that we assisted over time in direct sales. And I'm going to use the Havillah Hollow coins to give you your reparations and give you the ability to convert your dollars and upgrade and get the difference in between what they should have paid you and what they did pay you. We know exactly what the compensation plan says and what they actually paid out. But based off of the peonage law, I can go back and show you the peonage law and show you that when they was giving you $5 on energy bill and people were paying an energy bill every month and paying $90, $100, $150, that's peonage when they gave you $5 when they could have given you $55. And so these are all of the ways that we're using this hollow coin to be able to redistribute wealth back into our communities. So I can't go into everything, but I don't need to go into everything. Came out here tonight to show you how we're going to get this into neighborhood after neighborhood. So when you come to the tent of meeting, the tent will have a street team. So we're hiring street teams in all of these neighborhoods and cities to take the people's information, get them registered. There is a fee. There is a fee to register. There is registration fees, just like anything else you do. If you go and you're trying to get move into an apartment, and you go and you fill out the application, almost 100% of the apartments, they have an application fee. Why? Because somebody has to take your information, put your information into the system, put it into the system, and then connect you with their computer systems to track the process. There's a registration fee. People have to input information so that we can be strategic in serving you. So yes, there is service an application fee. Once you pay your application fee, or just like if you want to enroll into our programs, there is an enrollment fee. It's like when you go to a university, you got to put down a deposit. There's tuition. And in the era that we in, we stopped and calculated. I stopped and calculated the average amount of an ounce of weed. And so because right now our country, everybody's consuming so much weed, and there ain't nobody going without the weed. And there's a price attached. But our people is not going without smoking. But in economics, there's something called an opportunity cost. There's a cost associated with every single opportunity. Every single opportunity. And economics teaches, as soon as you could go from physical labor to mental labor, you need to make the transition, because you get paid more for your intellectual property than you do for your physical prowess. The moment that you can upgrade from physical manual labor to intellectually, an engineer gets paid infinitely more than package handlers do. Because intellectual property is way more valuable than physical labor. And so opportunity cost says you need to calculate. You have two separate things that you could do with your time. You can only do one thing. And in economics, it teaches you got to calculate the opportunity cost. So if you're a software engineer and you get paid $1,500 an hour, but you also have grass at the house, or you also have a vehicle, and let's say your car needs an alternator, your car needs a starter. Opportunity cost says sit down and calculate. You it may take you 2.5 hours to change your alternator. And an alternator might run you 250 to, let's say, $350, $400. So you're gonna save yourself $400, but you're gonna spend 3.5, 4 hours to save yourself $400. It's gonna take you 3 hours, and you're gonna save $400. Most people are like, yo, you saving $400. You're a software engineer and you get paid $1,500 an hour. So 4 hours times $1,500, that's $6,000. So opportunity costs say, if you go out and you spend 4 hours and you change your alternator, you just lost $5,600. You $5,600 in the hole because you're a software engineer and you get paid for your intellectual property, and you would have made $6,000 in those 4 hours. But to go save you $400, you gonna do it. You gonna do it yourself instead of taking it to a mechanic and letting them do it, and then go get the $6,000. You be like, oh, I do my own. I do my own mechanic work. I'm gonna fix my car myself. Okay, you gonna spend the 4 hours. You just lost $5,600. You got a badge of honor because you did the mechanic work yourself. Yeah, pat yourself on the back, but you just lost $5,600. Opportunity costs say, if you can get money intellectually, go get this $6,000 and then pay somebody $400 to to do all of the manual labor things, because intellectually, you you are able to earn more money with your mind than you are with doing your physical labors and because y'all have attached labels to certain things. Oh, it's manly to go out and do this, and it's listen, economics is how you build wealth. And if you don't know the principles of economics, which they do not teach anywhere, you got to go out your way to learn economics. The principles of economics are the way you build wealth. And the foundation of economics is opportunity cost. Every decision has an opportunity cost. And when you put yourself in a position to earn money intellectually, this is an intellectual property creating a Havillah hollow coin. And so you got an intellectual decision to make. Do you want to take advantage of this opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of this opportunity, or do you want to continue on doing that which you're doing, and other people are making money in this space? Once again, I said Nas made 125, 150 million off of investing in the platform called Coinbase. And we have our own platform that's being launched because we have many different coins that are being offered. We have our own exchange. And individuals just like Nas can invest. Kevin Durant did the same thing, made millions off of Coinbase. So we simply said, if there's a market over there with trillions of dollars, we have to not only be in it, we have to put ourselves in a position where we can dominate in it. And that's what we've done. So these are not just games. Oh, also very important. So everything we doing has to do with therapy and healing and wellness and let's get in the beginning fit and marriage makers. Let's four components. The father's wish for marriages, the father's wish for finances, the father's wish for health, the father's wish for your holy spirituality, the heavenly father's wish. The Heavenly Father's wish for marriages, the Heavenly Father's wish for your finances, the Heavenly Father's wish for your body is the temple of God. And do you know that in the Word of God, there was a sanctuary coin that God's people had when they were in the covenant? That's what the Havillah coin is. It's the sanctuary coin. That's why I call it the hollow coins. They could only bring the sanctuary coin to spend when they came to the sanctuary to buy the doves or the land or whatever the offering that they were going to sacrifice. the, the temple wouldn't accept any other currency but the sanctuary coin, the hollow coin. This is the oldest currency on earth, dating back to Genesis 2. The sanctuary coin. They also called it the temple coin. So when God says, come exchange with me gold tried in the fire. And that's why when the Messiah was born, the king of Ophir brought the gold of Ophir, the 100% pure gold that was spoken about in Genesis 2. It said, in the land of Havillah, where the good gold of Havillah, Havillah hollow coins, is the gold that God commanded you to exchange with him in his economy. And then in the parable of the 5 golden Havillah talents. So Bitcoin and them, they exchange tokens. The Havillah hollow coin is not a token, it's a talent. Golden talents, 5 golden talents, is what God commanded you to exchange with him in his economy. And he gave the economy to Adam and Eve in Genesis 2. And then when he was born, the kings of the earth brought the economy to him. They gave it back to him. And so once again, I'm giving it back to you. Havillah hollow coins. Come and get the economy that God commanded you to exchange with him. And then he said it is tied to salvation. Getting to the king. Listen, the parable of the 5 golden talents, God came to check to see if they grew the golden talent that he gave you. And the individual that had no growth, he said, take what I gave him from him and give it to the one that made it grow, and then throw him out where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, hellfire. Nobody has told you that there is a financial examination and check in order to get to the kingdom. When he rebuked the man, He said, you should have put your money to work with the righteous bankers. That's why we created Onxx Wall Street Bank and Tree of Life USA banks. Because how can anybody fulfill that commandment when none of the banks that you bank with are the righteous bankers and they don't exchange the sanctuary coin? We the only people on earth that exchange the sanctuary coin. Your Federal Reserve don't exchange it. Nobody exchanges it. And so if there is a spiritual judgment, and he specifically said you should have put your money to work with the bankers. There is no bank currently where you're putting your money that follows the financial covenant and financial commandment given by God in the Word. We the only people who have been taught and have stuck to the training that was given us. And so if you want to be obedient to that commandment to put your money to work with the righteous bankers, the banks is open. The banks is open. All right. So the important part is there is individuals who financially can't pay the fees and all of that, right? And there's individuals who are stuck in the generational curses of poverty. So we're taking the individuals on the lowest rungs of society, and in every county in Florida, you heard me, in every county in Florida, there's 67 of them. Launch your new career today in transportation and logistics, in county by county, using the state employment. Here in Florida, they call it Career Source. Every state, they call it different, but it's the same exact thing. Launch your new career today in transportation and logistics. Launch your career today, electronic board assembly. So the reason we can become G-Tail USA is because we have the ability to take the company to the whole nother level by creating a better phone and a better tablet. Electronic board assembly. These are individuals who are going through a course, a technology course, to be able to work on electronic boards so they can build computers, they can build tablets, they can build phones, anything. Commercial truck driving. These are 10-week courses. They finish these 10-week courses, they come out, and we are an employer and we're pooling other employers to be able to hire them $25 an hour. There's no skilled labor shortage in this country. It's a shortage of investors. It's a shortage of individuals who are in business. It's called business to business investment. Launch your career today in clinical medical assistance, EKG. These are all careers where we could take people, homeless people, people aging out of foster care, people just getting out of prison, people just getting out of rehab and trying to get their life together. The least of these are our brothers and sisters. Sit them down for 10 weeks, 90 days in a course that is paid. They don't even got to pay for the course. Launch your career today in robotics and semiconductor technician. Robotics and semiconductor technician. Robotics technician. All this AI and all of that. 90 days, become a robotics technician. And then what we're doing is we're going to take them through another skilled labor. We're going to add virtual reality and augmented reality training immediately after they finish this. This is book knowledge. This is book knowledge. Sit down in the class, pass the test, book knowledge. But the virtual reality and augmented reality allows them to become a seasoned technician in whatever their trade is. And it's like adding 2, 3, 4 years of on the job experience when you use augmented reality training. It speeds up the process of them becoming skilled in what they do. We're the only people in the country doing this. All right. So all this is going to happen at the tenant meeting. So whatever demographic. So this is not just the games going on. So I told you we having a construction Olympics because we investing in properties in these communities to be able to put the headquarters for the One Love IMG games in each one of these counties, so that the kids and the people who are trained, the pros who are going to train, they don't have to go all across the city. In each one of these counties, we're going to put the stadium, the gymnasiums, the training facilities, all of that in reach in the county. But we're going to hire from our pool of individuals to do the construction. So after they take these courses and graduate from the courses and they saying we skilled, we're going to have a construction Olympic games to test to see who's the best of the best. And then we're going to put them right to work on the properties that we've invested in. One Love IMG neighborhood games. And all of this is going to be funded by the Havillah Hollow coins. So we're also asking everybody to come to our Mason's Razor Sharp medical esthetician and cosmetology yacht club and spa. You heard me. In each one of these counties as well, in each one of these hip hop neighborhoods, we opening up our family. Both of my families have invested in the highest level in cosmetology. And inside of those cosmetology beauty supply and beauty shops and barbershops, we adding Get Twisted, Pottstown, Get Twisted Huntsville, Get Twisted Pine Forge, and Get Twisted Oakwood. This is course and curriculum, cosmetology course and curriculum on braiding and getting twisted. But everything in cosmetology, you could get your license, you could totally get your license directly through us. And at the same time, we also offering the medical esthetician, the massage therapy, the everything, the facials, the manicures, the everything that comes with the medical esthetician. So that when you come to a Mason's Razor Sharp, you could come get your hair done, you could come get your hair twisted, you could get your hair cut, you could get a facial, you could get a massage, you could get a spa day, you could get a couples massage, you could get whatever you need. And at the same time, you could go upstairs, and we also offering the mental therapy services. I'm personally enrolling in a course, marriage and family counseling course. You heard me. So when I say Dr. Life, I'm saying Dr. Life for real. You have so many individuals who have gone into this lane, marriage and family counseling, but the counsel that they're given, it don't add up. And so if our people are going to be going to therapists and getting marriage and family counseling, we going to make sure that you're going to get the right counsel. So when we say a makeover, we talk about a total makeover, mentally, physically, uh, um, occupational therapy, physical therapy, sports medicine, you name it, massage therapy, you name it. Okay, so we call it a makeover, right? So it's a buy one get one free. So those of y'all that can afford the makeover, when you come and pay for your makeover, somebody who can't afford to pay for their makeover is going to get it free. Every single makeover is buy one get one free. And we encourage everybody to get a makeover. And then we encourage your husbands, y'all husbands, we encourage y'all, yo, get on the schedule. Once a week, twice a week, twice a month, whatever. Let us give you gift cards. Put your wife in the appointment book. Put yourself in the appointment book. Y'all come down and get a couples spa day every week, or bi-weekly, or bi-monthly, however, whatever. But it's still gonna be buy one get one free, so that our people who can't afford, because we gotta pay our people who provide the services, but we also gotta make a pathway for those who can't afford to be able to get access. Buy one get one free. You sponsoring somebody else's makeover, all right? And everything you purchase from us, if you purchase a hat from us, you purchase a t-shirt from us, you are going to get Havillah Hollow coins. You purchase it in dollars, so you're going to get your item, but we're also going to issue you the Havillah coins that puts the value back in your dollar. So if you buy anything from us, you're increasing your wealth. Anything and everything puts money back into your pocket. All right? This is the launch. And I'm doing it right in time. So my wife and I, we created for our institutions, for Pine Forge Academy and Oakwood, we created foundations. And so my son is about to go to Pine Forge Academy. And so it's not no issues and no nothing about tuition and bills and none of that. We're never ever going to entertain with Pine Forge or Oakwood anything about finances. For any of the individuals coming from our inner city neighborhoods, they will never ever finances will never ever be a issue. That's what the foundation was created for. The Father's Wish Foundation for Pine Forge and the Lion King, the Lioness Queen Foundation for Oakwood, the Layish Lioness Queen Foundation, Layish Lioness Den, I'm sorry, Falcon Nest Lion's Den Foundation. Okay? So in these games, the top eighth graders, the top MVP eighth graders are also going to be given scholarships to go to Pine Forge with my son next year. And on day one, when they show up, their tuition going to be paid because we're putting back together PFI, Pine Forge Industries, and Hollywood Studios is the Pine Forge industry. The hip hop Juilliard that I was telling you about, where songs and skits and plays pays the tuition of the students who perform them. It's not a question of, is my son going to Pine Forge Academy? We already created, on our 10-year anniversary, we created the Falconess Foundation, and we told y'all we was putting something in my wife's name to make sure that PFI was put back in place. We used to go up and create light fixtures. We would go up the hill, we would work in the factory and make lights, and then they sold the lights, and then we received tuition knocked off because we went to work. But it doesn't make sense to work in industries that don't pay as much as the industries that the school is known for. That doesn't even make sense. You can sell millions of albums and subsidize the tuition for all of those who sung on the album. And Pine Forge Academy will be included in the One Love IMG neighborhood games. So the players that play in our games will get paid, just like my son. He got his own business and his own companies anyway. So we ain't even got to worry about tuition or none of that. All of my kids, that's what the Havillah Hollow Coins launch is. It is the inheritance of every member of my family. So this is Damon Jr.'s scholarship fund. These games coming up February the 1st through February the 14th. And there's going to be a crop of eighth graders that are going to matriculate through Pine Forge Academy with my son. Basketball, volleyball, track. We have a crop of individuals that we're about to recruit February the 1st through February the 14th. And when the MVPs, and then at the end of the 90 days in April, I think April the 6th through April the 13th or April the 6th. So we do a invitational tournament in the beginning of the 90 days, and we do the championship tournament at the end of the 90 days. And so that crew, just before going into the summer, will be identified. And then they'll train all throughout the summer. And then in the fall, they will go right up to Pine Forge Academy. And we already doing something monumental at Pine Forge Academy this fall, this alumni weekend, with Derek Green and ET and Shannon Austin. So it's not a question of where Damon Leggett Jr. will be in the fall. It's not a question. Because alumni weekend in the fall, it is our alumni weekend. Alumni weekend in the spring at Oakwood, it is our alumni weekend. So come get it.